Have you ever wondered how to know if a woman has just slept with another man? She won't confess. She won't let you catch her red-handed. But her body, her habits, and the tiniest details always betray her. The truth is, a woman can hide her words, but she can never hide the signs. The question is, are you sharp enough to see them in this video? I will reveal 5 dangerous signals that most men ignore until it's too late. Sign 1, the body turns cold. There are changes that need no words, because the body is the most honest language of all. A man who has lived long enough with his woman knows very well when her embrace is genuine, when her kiss burns with passion, when her body reaches out to him even before he speaks. But then, one day, he suddenly realizes that fire has gone out. He leans in for a kiss, and she slightly turns her face away. He puts his arm around her shoulder in bed, but her body stiffens instead of melting softly like before. He asks with concern, and she replies, "I'm tired." But this tiredness is unlike exhaustion from work. It feels more like indifference, like detachment. This is the hardest sign to face, because it's not loud, not obvious. It doesn't scream at you. There's a problem. It whispers, like an underground current humming in your chest. And precisely because it's so vague, many men deceive themselves. They say it must be age, it must be stress, it must be just how long-term relationships are. But the truth is, desire doesn't die from age. It only shifts to somewhere else. If she once eagerly waited for you to come home just to hold you tight, but now turns her back, that's not a new habit. That's a signal. Imagine trying to rekindle a fire. Before, a single matchstick would set it ablaze. But now, no matter how many matches you strike, the wood stays cold, because that flame has already burned elsewhere, and the mistake many men make is that they refuse to face the truth. They beg, they plead, they try harder to touch, to kiss, hoping the fire will return, but the harder they try, the clearer it becomes that body is no longer theirs. So what should you do? Don't beg, don't cling through desperation. Instead, observe. Take a step back. If it's just fleeting fatigue, the distance will close by itself. She will come to you. But if the coldness comes from satisfaction found elsewhere, that distance will only grow. And it is that very silence that will give you the answer. Realizing this is painful, but it is also liberating, because once you dare to face it, you will stop wasting energy clinging to a flame that's already been lit somewhere else. The body never lies, and when it falls silent with you, that is the moment you must bravely look into the truth. Sign 2, the cleansing ritual. After the body turns cold, another sign will follow, one that's even clearer, yet many men easily overlook. That is the cleansing ritual. When a woman has just left another man's arms, she will never bring that scent back to you. She comes home not with her usual perfume, not with her natural aura, but with a kind of freshness that feels too fresh. A shower that lasts longer than usual. A faint unfamiliar fragrance you've never smelled before. Clothes suddenly change for no reason. Lingerie swapped out, mismatched with the rest of the day. On the surface, all of it looks like self-care. But the truth, it is a ritual of concealment. She is not just cleansing her body. She is trying to wash her conscience. Men often let it slide. Oh, she just wants to feel refreshed. Oh, she must be trying a new perfume. But in that moment, you are gaslighting yourself. You choose to believe the cover instead of facing the hard truth she is erasing the trace of another man before you can notice. Remember, a woman's body holds more than you think. Her skin clings to scents. Her hair retains traces. Her clothes carry imprints. That's why she must scrub, must wash, must spray perfume to cover it up. And ironically, the harder she tries to hide it, the more obvious the sign becomes. Excessive cleanliness is not care, it is erasure. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every long shower or new perfume equals betrayal. What matters is not the act itself, but the change. If before she never rushed into the bathroom the moment she got home, but now she always does. If before clothes were tossed carelessly, but now they're carefully tucked away, almost as if hiding something inside. That is the real signal. The biggest mistake men make is ignoring small changes. You smell an unfamiliar scent, but you tell yourself, Maybe she's changing her style. You notice unusual cleanliness, but you label it. She's just taking better care of herself. And just like that, you become an accomplice in your own replacement. The solution is not anger, confrontation, or shouting. The solution is awareness and observation. Connect the dots. Watch for repetition. Because once an action turns into a habit, it is no longer random. When you notice this cleansing ritual recurring alongside forced smiles and evasive eyes, you already have your answer. Her body may be washed clean, but habits and changes can never be scrubbed away. And it is there, in that persistence, that the truth will reveal itself. Sign 3. The blame game and emotional reversal. When guilt becomes too heavy to bear, women rarely confess. They don't speak the truth. Instead, they weaponize it and throw it back at you. This is the blame game, one of the clearest, yet cruelest signals. Suddenly, everything you do becomes a problem. You stay quiet. She says you're distant. You talk a little more. She says you're annoying. You wash the dishes, but she criticizes the way you do it. You come home late once. She accuses you of no longer caring. Sound familiar? Those accusations don't come from reality. They come from her need to turn you into the guilty one so she doesn't have to carry the title of betrayer. This is a psychological defense mechanism. She cannot handle the weight of guilt, so she needs a villain in the story, and the closest, easiest person to cast in that role is you. Instead of admitting she crossed the line, she rewrites the narrative in her head. I cheated because he was too cold, too boring, too controlling. In that script, she's not the wrongdoer, she's the victim. And the greatest mistake men make is falling into this trap. You start to argue, you try to explain, you say I did this for your own good, or I'm not careless, or I only wanted us to be happy. But the more you speak, the deeper you fall into the script she has already written. Because her goal is not to understand you, it's to use you as evidence to justify her betrayal. The more you defend, the more ammunition she has to keep blaming you. The more you react, the more she can prove, see, that's exactly how he is. And little by little, you find yourself living in a house full of tension, where you're forced to tiptoe on eggshells. One heavier breath from you could spark another unreasonable outburst. So what should you do when caught in this spiral? The answer is not to win an argument, but to protect your dignity. Don't respond in anger. Don't beg for her understanding. Instead, when she begins to attack with unreasonable accusations, look her in the eye and calmly say, "You don't need to blame me to justify the choices you've made." Then step back, not because you're weak, but because you refuse to dance to the rhythm of guilt she's playing. At that moment, the balance shifts. When you refuse to play the guilty role she has assigned you, the script in her mind collapses, and the full weight of the truth returns to its rightful place on her shoulders. Remember, strength is not shouting, not reacting. Strength is control. And sometimes, a silence paired with an unwavering gaze carries more weight than 1,000 justifications. Because that silence doesn't just say you see through her, it also says, you will not let yourself be dragged down into the lie any longer. Sign 4. Absence in affection and intimacy. There is a truth that any man who has ever loved deeply understands. Intimacy is not just physical. Intimacy is the fusion of body and soul. But when a woman has given her heart elsewhere, the first thing to disappear is not her body, it's her soul's presence. You may still lie next to each other. You may still hold one another. You may even still have sex. On the surface, everything looks normal. But when you look deeply into her eyes, you no longer find yourself there. Her gaze is empty, distant, as if following a memory that doesn't belong to you. The movements are there, the whispers are there, but the energy, the connection, is gone. You can feel it, the body is here, but the mind has drifted far away. This is the most merciless moment, because it turns closeness into theatre. She plays the role of a wife, a girlfriend, a lover to perfection, but it's all a mask. While you're giving your whole heart, she is using that very intimacy to cover the cracks of betrayal, and you have become a side character in a play you never auditioned for. Men often console themselves. She must just be tired. She must be stressed from work. But you know, deep down, that tiredness still allows connection. Stress still allows empathy. This emptiness, however, is different. It's cold. It's soulless. It feels like holding a shell, not the woman you once knew. Even worse. Sometimes she does the opposite. To cover her guilt, she suddenly becomes overly affectionate. Unexpected hugs, rushed kisses, whispered "I love yous" pouring out as if to compensate. But be alert, that is not true love, it is the stage of remorse. Those gestures are not for you, they are for her to grant herself forgiveness. And the greatest mistake men make is believing that this is a sign she has come back. You sigh in relief, you lower your guard, you think she still loves me. But in reality, you have only become the place where she soothes her conscience while her real passion burns elsewhere. So what should you do? Don't confuse the presence of the body with the presence of the heart. Don't trade your dignity for gestures born from guilt. Listen to your intuition. If intimacy no longer feels like connection, but like performance, then that is the moment you must face the truth. A woman can fake a look, a gesture, even an embrace, but the soul can never fake. And when that soul is no longer with you, you are in a relationship that has become nothing more than a shadow. Sign 5. When time and stories no longer match. In true love, time always finds a way to bring two people back together. No matter how busy she is, a woman who still loves you will be eager to return, wanting to be in your arms as soon as possible. But when the flame has gone out, time suddenly becomes your enemy. She comes home late again and again, and each delay comes with an explanation that sounds both familiar and hollow. Today she says she had to work overtime. Tomorrow, her phone battery died. Another day, a friend needed urgent help. The reasons are endless, but they all share one thing in common: they grow weaker, less believable each time. At first, you want to believe. You tell yourself, yes, maybe work really is busy. Yes, maybe her friend truly needed her. But when those excuses turn into a repeated pattern, you must understand the problem is no longer work or friends, it's about priorities. And clearly, you are no longer number one. This is the trial many men cannot pass, because they fear facing it. They fear asking questions. They fear that if they dig deeper, the answers will be too painful. So they choose silence. They swallow their doubts. They pretend to be at ease, just to preserve a fragile peace. But the truth is that silence itself becomes acceptance. Every time you let an empty excuse slip by, you are slowly teaching her, I accept, I won't react, I will endure. And eventually, her absence is no longer random. It becomes a message, a silent declaration that she is giving her time to somewhere else, to someone else. But that is not the only sign, because as her absences stretch longer, the stories she weaves begin to crack. You'll notice inconsistencies in the smallest details. Today she says she was with colleagues. Tomorrow, the same story links to a friend instead. Timelines don't match. Reasons change. Her eyes avoid yours when you casually ask for more detail. That is not harmless forgetfulness. It is lies collapsing under their own weight. Men often make the mistake of seeking perfect evidence, a text message, a photo, an undeniable trace. But truth rarely reveals itself so clearly. It shows through tiny gaps, contradictory details, trembling eyes, and stammered words. And if you are alert enough, you'll see, the collapse of her story is the biggest proof of all. At this point, you don't need to shout, don't need to force a confession. Instead, all it takes is one simple sentence: I don't need any more explanations. What I've seen is enough. Then silence. That silence is the sharpest blade, because it gives her no chance to build more stories, and it gives you no chance to keep deceiving yourself. Remember, love can forgive many things, but when time and words no longer align, when her late returns become habit, that is no longer just a sign, it is evidence. And once you see the evidence clearly, the question is no longer, did she cheat, but do you have the courage to face it? You've just heard the 5 clearest signs of a woman who has given herself to another man. From the body that turns cold, to unusual cleansing rituals, from the blame game, to absence in emotion and intimacy. And finally, when time and her stories begin to fracture, no longer fitting together, these signs, no matter how subtle, will eventually show, because the body, habits, and words, none of them can hide forever. But remember this, not every single sign means betrayal. Life brings pressure, work brings stress, and sometimes love goes through cold phases. The key is not to rush into accusation, but to observe, to test, and to face the truth. Because the truth, no matter how painful, always frees you more than living in blindness. The greatest danger is not that she betrays you, but that you betray yourself by ignoring signs that are already clear. Men lose their dignity not because someone deceives them, but because they allow themselves to live inside the lie. And so, here is the choice for you. If the signs are temporary, face them, talk, and rebuild together. But if they pile up, if every piece of evidence aligns with your deepest intuition, then what you must do is not to cling tighter, but to leave with your dignity intact. Because love can be repaired, but dignity must never be traded away. Before you leave this video, I have a challenge for you. Think of a moment in your life when you ignored your intuition. Was it the cold embrace? Was it the strange scent that passed by? Was it a story you knew could never line up this time? Be brave enough to face it. Don't stay silent. Don't deceive yourself. The decision is yours, not her words, not your fear. And if you found value in what I shared, hit subscribe, press like, and share this video with another man. Because maybe your story will be the wake-up call for someone standing at the edge of betrayal. Leave a comment. Tell me, have you ever noticed one of these signs, and how did you handle it? Your answer may save another man's dignity before it's too late. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a new journey, the journey where you take back control, take back clarity, and take back yourself.